to another edition of Head Sports. I'm your host, Brian Parker, with my co-host, Mr. Randall Hargrove. How you doing, sir?
Hello, what up?
Man, another week number 10 of the
10 weeks in the
NFL.
book.
Yeah, 10 weeks in the book. What were some of your takeaways, sir?
God, man, a lot. D. Hopkins is a beast. He's not from the planet. He's an alien. I'm convinced of it. Oh man, that was crazy. Also, I was just checking the standings too, and as bad of play as we have in the NFC East, we have a really good race going on in the NFC West with the Cardinals, Rams, and Seahawks all sitting at 6-3. That's pretty amazing. And then the Niners, who are in last place, you know, they're not quite out of it. They're 4-6. Once they get Garoppolo back, you know, who knows what they could do along with Raheem Mostert. I'm sorry. They might be able to step on the gas a little bit and see what they could do as far as getting back into this race. But I just thought that was pretty amazing, man.
Yeah, you know, I've always just not known what to make of the Cardinals. Like I know I said this before, Kyler Murray, I just don't know what to make of him. He just seems like what I see in front of me should not materialize into what the stats end up saying. And what I mean by that is he's, you know, the prototypical quarterback is 6'4", you know, 200 pounds, 220 pounds, whatever, and, you know, pocket passer and all this other kind of stuff. That's your traditional quarterback. I remember there was a time when a 6-foot quarterback would rarely get a look, and he's not even that. What is he? Is he 5'11"?
He's about 5'10". That's what
Yeah.
his measurable state, but that kid ain't 5'10", man.
That's what I'm saying, because, you know, anytime they say you 5'10", you really 5'8", because they get those measurables a lot of times when you got shoes on. And if they say you 5'10", then I know you 5'8". Because I remember when they used to say Muggsy Bogues was 5'5", and we knew Muggsy was almost like 5 foot tall. 5'1", 5'2". So yeah, when you see this kid and you're like, okay, how are you getting the ball over these linemen that are coming for you? Or you're gonna have to live your life rolling out of the pocket. There's no way you can just stand in there and try to get the ball, because it's either going to get batted down or intercepted. So you can't live your life standing in the pocket being that small. So I'm like, can you really be successful doing that? Well, Christian Kirk thinks he can. Hopkins thinks he can. And then when he can't, the good thing is that when he does roll out of that pocket and he doesn't see anything, he just takes off and runs.
And he's most likely, a lot of the times, the fastest cat on the field. So he's just a little dude, man. He's a little dude doing his thing.
Little.
I did not see it coming, just like you were saying. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't seem like he should be doing what he's doing. I mean, even the last play of the game, he's rolling out to his left under pressure and throws back against his body. He's a right-handed quarterback.
Right.
And he hits a perfect strike. Now, of course, he's helped out by the supernatural down there, Mr. Hopkins, who just goes up over 3 dudes, triple coverage, and just takes it from him. Triple coverage, man.
Right.
What else can they do?
Yeah.
But the throw, I guess what I'm trying to say, made it to the end zone for one. So
correct.
Proving he's a strong arm kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, it was accurate enough to even stay in bounds. So, man, I just didn't see it coming. It's astonishing to me. Yeah, and it's really astonishing to look at the stats and see this.
It was crazy because I just knew the Bills had the game. Once Stephon Diggs made that amazing catch.
He made one too.
And that's the crazy part. Had Hopkins dropped that ball, everybody would have been talking about the amazing catch Stephon Diggs made in that corner of that end zone.
To win the game. But now that it didn't win the
You
game,
hear about the catch.
Nobody even remembers it. But the Cardinals are just a sneaky good team. Now, we're going to see what they have tomorrow night against the Seahawks, which should be a very good game. Mm-hmm. But, it surprises me to know that the Cardinals are the number one offense in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's crazy. That's crazy because, and trust me, I do nothing but root for their success because DeAndre Hopkins is on my company fantasy team that I have with Red Roof. So I definitely pay close attention to how D-Hop is performing. And I get a little upset at times because it seems he has trouble getting D-Hop the ball, but I realize a lot of that is because defense is focused so much on him. That's why Christian Kirk ends up getting a whole lot of throws because he's playing a lot of one-on-one. Mm-hmm. And then he's beating his man. But then when he can get to D-Hop, I mean, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's but some games D-Hop will have a whole lot of targets. Some games not so much, just the way defenses plan and prepare. They basically tell Kyler, we're going to take one of your biggest weapons away, and you're going to either have to beat us with your legs or you're going to have to find other receivers. And
you see that around
six
the league.
Six out of the 9 games, he's been successsul at it. So
you see that around the league with the defenses commonplace. They take away your main receiving option, like Green Bay. They concentrate so hard on Devontae Adams that now Lazard is flourishing so much.
Or MVS.
Or MVS. That kid gets on my nerves because he's either feast or famine when it comes to fantasy. He's either
exactly. You don't know how to play people like that because you're like. It's like your Steelers.
Yeah.
I don't know which one of your receivers from week to week is going to be the guy. Is it Washington? Is it Claypool? Is it Juju Smith-Schuster? And you got another guy I'm thinking about.
Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
And that's actually a great thing in my mind because the Steelers right now are
not for fantasy, but in real life, yes, not for fantasy.
No, not for fantasy.
No, not for fantasy.
But Roethlisberger now, with the weapons that he has and the way he's using them, are kind of making me flashback to the 2015 Carolina Panthers and how Cam was using his receivers.
Right.
Just a hot man. He ain't have a number one.
Well, now I just took your ability to game plan against me. You focus on this dude and you leave these other 3 in one-on-one situations, I'm going to kill you. Especially if your pass rush is suspect, I am going to kill you.
Well, I'm even going to murder you even more. So if your defensive strategy, you don't know who to pinpoint. Like you play the Steelers from week to week, who you going to double? You don't even know.
You can't.
It's Roethlisberger throwing to the hot man. I don't believe we have a number one receiver. We just have a hot hand, and
that's exactly right. If somebody asked me today, who's the number one receiver for the Steelers?
Don't know.
What day is it?
Exactly. What day?
I can't tell you. And you know what? That's really refreshing with them because a couple years ago everybody knew it was AB.
Stop AB.
That's it. Stop AB. Force Ben to look somewhere else. That's going to also affect Ben because sometimes he kind of zeroed in on AB.
Forced
to who else was out there, and sometimes
especially with the mouth AB had.
And you could get away with forcing it to him because hell, if you throw a ball towards AB and you just give him a chance to go get it, most of the time he's gonna come down with it.
Most of the time he's gonna get it.
You do that with a lot of people.
Sometimes he's throwing into double coverage.
Yeah.
And that will come back to bite you sometimes. But I completely get what you're saying. But it's just a beautiful brand of football. Looking at the Steelers now, knowing that Roethlisberger has the judgment call to throw it to whoever he wants without somebody screaming for the ball.
All right, so we done got over the hump with the Steelers. They 9-0 now, so they're gonna have a winning season. No matter if they lose all their games, they're gonna have a winning season.
Yep.
The problem is, I ain't trying to, start up this talk again, but okay, they got the Jags next. After that, they got a Thanksgiving Day game with the Ravens, which is gonna be beautiful because that's a Thursday night game.
Oh yeah, yeah. Tough division battle.
After that, though, it's Washington, then Buffalo. That might be a trap game.
Yeah,
that's the only game I can see. I own the Ravens too, but you know what? If Pittsburgh paid attention to the way the Patriots played the Ravens, they can get that game again.
Again, right? Because we got Jackson the first time. Yeah,
exactly. And then after that, it's the Bungles again. You just took care of them pretty handedly. And then you've got the Colts, who are better than we thought they were a couple weeks ago. And then you ended with the Dookies. So no Browns. And then so I don't know if it's I don't think it's 16-0. I don't know who's gonna trip them up.
No.
But yeah, they got a very favorable schedule going forward. Like I said, there's maybe 2 or 3 games that I would say that might give them a little bit of a hard time. If they don't come out and play their best, somebody could get them. That could be the Colts. That could be the Bills.
Yeah.
Quite possibly, I could see the Ravens, possibly. I'm just not – the Ravens are who I thought they were. They're a one-trick pony. I hate to say that because Lamar Jackson is a human joystick, and when he's doing his thing and he's able to do that thing, yeah, you watch in amazement. But when it's time to put a throw on that man perfectly, or execute a perfect play and stuff like that,
doesn't happen with consistency.
Yep. If you spy him, and the person spying him is just as fast, which ain't too many people, but if you do a DB instead of a bigger linebacker, you give up some size, but you gain some speed.
Yeah.
And New England did that to him a couple of times, and it threw him off. Like he get 2 yards. He wasn't elusive, or they would make him roll out so far he was already in the backfield. So it may have looked like he gained 8-9 yards, but hell, 6 of them was in the backfield.
Yeah, the thing with him is keeping him in front of the defense, of course, but then the second thing is the first man can't miss.
Right.
That's where he breaks a defense completely down, is where he makes that first man miss, and then he's off for another 10 to 12 yards. So I like the way Pittsburgh played him the first time. They have athleticism in their linebackers to where they could kind of, contain him and make him be a passer. Hopefully they'll implement the same thing again on Thanksgiving night.
Yep.
As far as the Steelers' record, they got 7 games remaining. If they just go 3-4 right now, they're sitting 12-4. Just win 3 of the final 7, they're sitting 12-4. So they're in a beautiful position right now. And I know we also played this with the Panthers not too long ago, so I want to revisit it because now we're here. Panthers record 3-7.
Yep.
And I asked you a few weeks ago if the Panthers had lost. I think at the time they were 3-5, and I was asking you if they lost their games to the Bucs and whoever it was they played before the Bucs, I'm forgetting, and sit here at 3-7, what should they do in terms of the remainder of the season? Well,
that would have been the Chiefs.
Chiefs, right? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are, 3-7. The Panthers have 6 games remaining.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with them losing them all. I'm okay with them losing all. Listen, I don't want to. So 6 games remaining. Say they went 3-3 for the rest of the season, and they're sitting here at 6-10.
Yeah.
What is that going to do for a draft pick?
Nothing.
Nothing. Say they got to 4-2. Somehow went to 4-2.
Yeah.
Down the stretch. They be sitting at what, 7-9?
Well, let's just look at that, because okay, so they've played. I'm sorry, you said they're 3-7.
Yeah,
that's 10 games. That means they got 6 to go. Okay, so they've got the Lions in Carolina on Sunday. I don't know how that's going to go. They got to go to Minnesota after that. I kind of feel like the Vikings can win that game because I don't think they can stop Dalvin Cook. And even if it's a shootout, I don't think they can keep up. Then they come home and face the Broncos. I don't know if Locke is quarterback, and I don't know who the quarterback. I don't know how that game goes. So the Lions and the Broncos, I can see going either way.
Yeah.
Then you got the Packers in Green Bay. The total loss. No chance.
Right.
But then after Aaron's going to do what he's going to do to him, they get to go to Washington to face the Washington football team, who at that point could be playing for first place in the NFC East.
Travesty. I say all that to say this. Even if Carolina gets red hot to the point where they go, let's say they go 5-1. That's only going to, if. Dream with me, B. If they go 5-1, 8-8, what's that going to do for the team?
Just bring down your draft pick values.
Yeah, exactly, and that's where I'm getting to, man.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm totally fine with Carolina losing out. 0-6. Let's get as high of a draft pick as we could get, because right now, got several holes that we see. Several holes that need patch. And we need the most talented guys on the board that we could get in here. They're kind of what we thought they would be at the beginning of the season. They gave us some optimism when they were 3-2, but then kind of got off track.
I'm gonna be honest with you. The parts that I'm thoroughly impressed and surprised by is the offense. If there was a better left tackle, if there was a better protection for Teddy ain't the problem. I gotta apologize to the man. For the longest, I really just thought he was a game manager. He wouldn't lose you a game, but he damn sure wasn't gonna win you a game. Everything else just had to be set up. He was a system quarterback. He played in a system. As long as he stays within himself, then you don't really have to worry about it. He's just not flamboyant. He's not sexy.
Right.
But he plays his ass off, man. He really does. And his receivers, Robbie Anderson, that dude looked like somebody need to like make him just eat for like 3 days in a row. He's so damn skinny, but dude is like wiry, and he's just he's awesome. So their offense would be really good. They just can't stop nobody. That's the problem. So those are going to be some of the holes. I didn't know what to expect because I know they started a lot of rookies too. And that's okay too, because it's giving them the experience. Get the experience, but not the win. I want them to keep developing, but not enough to steal a couple of games that they shouldn't win.
Yep.
Because to your point, then that's going to affect their draft stock. And we're okay as fans knowing that you're developing young guys and you're trying to get them better, but at the same time, we're also looking towards the future. I don't call that tanking. I call that being realistic in development.
Nope. Look how many games that they were in it with good teams, like Kansas City game, right down to the wire.
You just played the Super Bowl team against the MVP.
And New Orleans, you went to, what was that, 24-27 score with
Yeah,
them
three-point game,
in
yeah.
New Orleans. Lost by a touchdown to the Bears, who are great defense, maybe
Yeah.
not so much offensively, but a good defense. I mean, you even match the Cardinals right now. I think that score was something like 30-20. So they've been in it with a bunch of teams.
Yeah.
So I've seen enough to say we've got a good little core there, a good little young core who can
Yes.
play. So there's no need for me to race McCaffrey back onto the field now that he has another injury that might keep him out a little bit. It's going to do the team no good to put him back on the field, risk another injury. Just go ahead and shut it down.
I shut him down.
Shut him down. We've
And
identified the players that we
because you already know it, you already
That's
know
it.
what he can do anyway.
Yeah,
Now
already
play
know.
some of these other guys and see what you got.
Yep. Totally agree.
Because Mike Davis has been a beautiful find.
Yes, he has been.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That dude runs so angry. I feel so bad for people that's in front of him when they line up. I'm like, oh man, he gonna hurt you. He's running so angry. And that can only give you so many different dimensions that now when they have to gameplay against you and you come out with a two-back set and both of them can catch out the backfield, both of them can chip block.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got
both of them, if you don't wrap them up good, can make you look silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like the young kids that they got. Yetur Gross-Matos, the defensive good guy. He's got injury going on right now, and that's kind of hampered his season. Jeremy Chin has been amazing. So that's another good draft choice.
That was. And Marty Hurney?
Kind of hit on the nose a little bit, man. Yep. Did a good job. Last year not so much with the Will Greer pick, but while we're at it, go on and throw Greer out on the field. Let's see what he has. Maybe he could up his trade value. Who knows? But right now, I mean, trying to hide him within the lineup, it's working against you, man.
That really is. That really is. I've seen more out of the punter that threw the trick play than Will Greer.
Got more completions.
He got more completions. Oh man, you're losing QBR to the punter. Oh God. Oh man. So yeah. Any other games that had caught your eye in Week 10?
Oh man, I'm just starting to learn across the league that you just don't know what's what anymore. You just really don't know what's what. Team could be favored heavily. Take, for instance, the Baltimore-New England game. It's like, who really thought that Cam stood a chance against the top defense in the league?
I did.
But, that mastermind Belichick went in and did his thing, made Cam a runner. The passes that he threw were within 10 yards, didn't throw that many times. Mainly built a good rushing attack, and then the weather helped him out. So you just never know with this league.
I didn't know Damian Harris was going to run like that. But what I kind of figured they were going to do against the Ravens is cancel them out by using what they do well against everybody against them, which is run, because they're the top rushing team in the league. If they could just keep the chains moving and, most importantly, keep the clock moving. The longer that clock runs and your offense is out there and you're running these 7-8 minute drives, guess who's sitting on the sideline looking at you? Lamar Jackson. Lamar can only beat you when he's on the field. If Lamar ain't on the field, he can't beat you.
Yep.
So what do? Take the air out the ball. Give him fewer opportunities to do what he does best.
Yeah.
And that's why I said that's a recipe for getting him, because what happens with that is now he's going to feel more pressure every time he's out there to try to play more hero ball and do more because he don't have as many opportunities.
Yeah, and he's
If
not that great of
he's
a
sipping on
come
you up
from
and down the
behind
field, up and
quarterback.
down the field, hey, I can do this all day. But when it's like, man, we got one possession a quarter.
And he's not that good of a come from behind quarterback. He's really not.
Exactly.
He's
Because then
used
you
to
take
winning
that
games.
element of the game away from him. It's just
Yep.
like back in the day when people figured when they played Minnesota, if we can build a big enough lead on Minnesota, 28 got to sit on the sideline now because we know you ain't going to hand it off to him no more. Adrian Peterson ain't getting that ball no more.
Yep.
They knew that. They do that with Zeke. They do that down in Dallas. If we can get a big enough lead up on them, he ain't getting the ball.
Yep. And that's how the Ravens play ball, man. They get out ahead of you, and then they milk the clock with a 3 running back attack, and
That's it.
Jackson also running the ball.
That's it.
But when they have to play from behind and become just a strictly passing team, they're not that good at it. Not that
No.
good at it.
And that's what I have been seeing lately. When they do get behind, they get exposed.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been seeing that with them lately. That's why I'm like, you know what? They're really a one-trick pony because they're basically playing that game with you to sleight of hand, where you're paying so much attention to what Lamar's doing, it kind of covers some of the other deficiencies. Because a lot of times when you're winning, you don't really focus on what you didn't do right because you're winning. And I think that covered up a lot of that stuff. But you could even see, even in spite of them winning, you could kind of see little things around the edges. And I was like, you know what? If Belichick sees that same thing and he decides, I'm going to just give you a heavy dose of running, and then the weather really helped. Yeah, I mean, it could have not, because that was a very wet ball. Easily for some of them peanut punches to come in and make that little thing squirt out. But it didn't. It only did that to the Ravens. Bad
Only
snaps.
Yep.
How many snaps got away from them because of that?
I know.
That wet ball, but it didn't seem to give New England any trouble because they practice like that. He probably make them practice with wet balls.
And he actually did that, man. That's why I give so much kudos to Belichick, even though, I don't really like him and I feel like he's cheated a couple of Super Bowls. Still a mastermind. He's still a mastermind. And I did read that he had them boys practicing outside in those elements, in the elements.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, they were ready for him.
Yeah.
And it showed by winning the turnover battle that game.
Yeah. That weather didn't seem to affect them at all.
Mm-mm.
At all. The only ones out there that seemed like they had trouble with the footing and the ball and everything were the Ravens.
Yep.
And it showed. So yeah, you gotta give. I don't like Belichick like that either. I kind of had that same relationship with Mike Krzyzewski. I'm a Tar Heel. I ain't supposed to like nothing about Duke, but I gotta respect the man's resume.
Yep.
All right, I just got to.
Right there with you.
I gotta respect his resume. But I can't stand a Dookie to save his life. If I see a Dookie having a heart attack, I'm sorry, dog. It's just your time. Just keep it real, I'll try to do something for your family. I'll send them some, something. A koozie, Carolina koozie. Yeah, you're right though. This weekend was just crazy. The Seahawks are still regressing. Russell Wilson is having to carry the weight of the team on his shoulders, and he's trying to do a lot, and now his interceptions are starting to pick up. He had 2, I think, in this last game. Yeah, he had no touchdown passes, 2 picks. He threw for 248 yards, threw the ball 37 times, only hit 22 of them because and he led the team in rushing, 8 attempts for 60 yards. He's trying to do everything just to keep this team winning. They're still at 6-3, as you mentioned earlier in the NFC West. So, but now they're tied with Arizona. They're tied with who else was it that you said? Was it the Rams?
The Rams, 6-3.
6-3. Yeah, and that was because of the game that they played. So they evened up their record through 9 games. So they're just going through it right now. Metcalf didn't have a big game, 2 receptions, 28 yards. And that's the guy he's really got to keep involved if they're going to have a chance at it. Their defense just can't really hold up, and Russ is having to try to do everything. And again, he's an undersized quarterback.
Yeah.
The throws that he makes, I'm always amazed at, because I'm like, how did you even see that person?
Yeah, that Chris Carson foot injury really has hampered their whole team because they depended on him heavily as far as that running attack. And now that he's been out for the past couple of weeks, the running backs that are in his place are just serviceable.
Well, they pulled one guy off the street, which was Collins. DJ Dallas could be good at some point. He just ain't ready. And then they did have Carlos Hyde, and then he was hurt.
Yeah.
So now Hyde should be coming back this week, but Carson's going to be out a little bit longer. So.
Carson may be back this week. Maybe back tomorrow night. Maybe back.
So
really? We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But while we're on this game, I'm going to go ahead and go on record. My track record's been pretty good with these little predictions. So I'm going to throw you another one.
All right.
I am predicting there is no way that the Seahawks will lose tomorrow night. Cash it in, put a bet on it. They are going to beat the Cardinals tomorrow night. Heard it here first. Bet your mortgage on it.
How do you see them beating them, though?
So, in Russell Wilson's career, I think I read somewhere where after he's lost 2 consecutive games, he's got some insane record of like 30-9. Also, his Thursday night matchup or his primetime matchup, very good record in primetime, and very good record against Kyler Murray head-to-head too. I don't know what it is about Kyler Murray playing the Seahawks, but he's got way more interceptions than touchdowns. So all of those elements combined, I think, to make a perfect storm. The Seahawks are on a 2-game skid. Like I said, potential to get Chris Carson back. All of those things combining, I'm seeing the Seahawks absolutely winning this game tomorrow. So we'll find out when we do the show next week if I'm right or wrong. But
you know what? I'm going to agree with you for a couple of reasons. Because I think the 12th man won't be there because there's going to be no fans in attendance. I'm looking at that now. I also do see where ESPN just updated 46 minutes ago. Carson is unlikely to play.
Carson is not likely to play tomorrow.
Right.
Okay.
But it's a primetime game. I don't know if Kyler Murray ready for them lights. Them lights do funny things to people. Russell Wilson has shown that when the lights come on, it only makes him elevate even more.
Showtime for him.
The lore of Russell. You know, I think Tyler Lockett and Metcalf are going to have a field day against that defense. And you got to remember, here's the funny thing. They scrimmage against Russell all the time. So they're used to him rolling out, being elusive and stuff like that. They got guys that practice against Russell Wilson. Kyler Murray is just a younger version. Size, speed, and arm. Kyler Murray is a poor man's Russell Wilson.
He is.
He really is. So he's not going to do things to them that they don't see every freaking day.
Yeah. He
doesn't scare them like that. Other teams might go, oh, my God, what are we supposed to do? What if he pulls the ball back and runs with it? Well, hell, y'all see Russell do that all the time. You know, so that's not going to throw them. That defense is going to be ready for that. They're going to be looking for that. You know, so I think that even though it's not the Legion of Boom anymore, I don't think you need the Legion of Boom. No. I think you just need to play a straight-up defense on him, force Kyler to beat you with his arm. I got that Lamar thing in the back of my head when it comes to Kyler Murray too. He can put up a lot of yards. He really can. But a lot of times it's because he rolls out of the pocket, creates extra time for somebody to get a few more yards downfield, and he can complete those passes.
Mm-hmm.
And Christian Kirk has been eating off of that all season. But as far as winning the actual game, you go into Seattle. I know the 12th man ain't going to be there, but Russell going to be there. He going to be waiting on y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be the game of the birds tomorrow.
Yep.
But
I just don't see the Seahawks losing a third straight game, but we'll see. We'll see.
I just like to say Hawks do fly higher than Cardinals.
That's right.
So I definitely agree with you. And I can't see Russell losing 3 games in a row. I
can't see that, man.
And they both have a 6-3 record. The Seahawks, Pete Carroll, he's going to get his guys to understand this can be a tiebreaker game. Going up in this game actually gives us an extra win from a division standpoint. So there's a whole lot of implications on winning this game. It's just not a regular game for them. I think he's going to have them ready to play. We will see how their defense travels to Seattle. We will see how their offense travels. So yeah, that's going to be a really, really interesting game.
A little bit of a sidebar conversation before we move on. I was reading this interesting article a few weeks ago about how former shortstops converted to quarterbacks in the NFL, and just the intelligence that you possess as a shortstop in baseball kind of translates over to being a quarterback in football. And when they gave examples of some of the guys who have done it, I was like, wow, man, it's some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Kyler Murray was one of them. Played, I think he was a shortstop in college. Russell Wilson was another one, shortstop in college.
Yeah.
And guess who the other one was? Patrick Mahomes, shortstop.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's crazy how that skill of being aware on the field and always knowing what to do with the baseball translates over into the quarterback positions in football. Crazy. Yeah.
I didn't realize how strategic that position was for the longest. Like, I just didn't have that appreciation for baseball until I really just started watching it and going, okay, he has to know the ramifications of his move. Do you get the man out on first? Do you hit second first, then go to first? Do you force the man to run between second and third? And now you got him trapped. You know, you got a lot of responsibility. You got to know what's going on in the game, who's on what base, who's where, and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and when you look at the majority of the hitters being right-handed, you know, and the majority of the hits being grounders.
And because there's no second baseman, no second baseman, you are the second baseman too. So
coming to the shortstop side, it's a busy dude. A
very busy dude.
Yeah.
And you got to manage all that. It's very cerebral. You're absolutely right. That actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So I'm interested in seeing what Tua does again this week, because, you know, I've been, you know, the first game I kind of was like, oh, okay. But actually seeing him play against the Chargers and beat the Chargers, he made Justin Herbert look more like Phillip Rivers. I was like, is that Phillip out there? Except for the side throw, I knew it wasn't Phillip. But I was like, oh my God. Same result, you know. Poor Chargers. Herbert, you know, threw 32 times, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, not 187 yards. He didn't really do a lot. Kind of reminded me of a Phillip Rivers game. But then when I saw Tua, I'm like, oh my gosh. Tua only threw 169, but he was 15 to 25. He didn't set the world on fire, but he did throw 2 touchdowns. So he took care of the ball, no picks, and made most of his opportunities. He did run 6 times, but it was for -1 yard. So some of those were kneel downs, I believe, at the end. But at the same time, you know, they're still winning. Again, they made this crazy decision to uproot their winning team with their winning quarterback to go for a rookie coming off a devastating injury. And they're still winning. they're still in the thick of the the AFC East.
Mm-hmm.
They're still in it. I mean, that's just weird to me that they did that and that it didn't blow up in their face.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the AFC East right now, Buffalo's 7-3, Miami is 6-3.
Wow. Right there in it, man.
They're right there in it, and that's because Buffalo hadn't had their bye, which I think they're going into their bye this week. I think. So now, if Miami wins, they'll be dead. They'll be tied.
Yeah.
They'll be tied for the division.
Yeah, I think we were talking about the Dolphins last week, and I said that, you know, they're building a nice little they got a nice little base going right there. You know, just need to add some defensive pieces,
Yeah.
add an explosive wide receiver. Of course, a running back, they're going to need that. But they got a nice little base right there with Tua. He's going to go through his learning bumps this year, and then next year, hopefully, he'll be able to take off a little bit. But during that time, they're in the hunt for the playoffs. So they're in a nice spot right now.
And even though the Patriots aren't mathematically out,
they're pretty much out.
They're still done. I mean, you got 5 losses, and I don't think anybody in the AFC with 5 losses is going to make the playoffs. Honestly. I think that's just one too many.
They got more losses on the way too.
Yeah, they got some more coming. And the reason is because right now, at 7-3 and 6-3 with Buffalo and Miami, you got the Chiefs at 8-1, the Raiders at 6-3. You got, of course, the Steelers at 9-0, then the Ravens at 6-3, the Dukies at 6-3, the Colts at 6-3, the Titans at 6-3.
It's a lot of 6-3 going on.
A lot of 6-3s. So you start shaking all of that out. Yeah, some of them are going to be disappointed. So Patriots, no, they ain't gonna happen.
Nah, not this year.
It ain't gonna happen. No. So anyway, yeah, I think that's gonna be a good game. The Broncos and the Dolphins. Now, of course, my game of the week though is going to be in Minnesota. It's always my game of the week. It's always.
How about them?
Yeah, how about them?
How about them?
I think Andy Dalton just got taken off the COVID list, so he may be ready to play. It doesn't really matter.
No.
I don't even think it matters if Troy Aikman comes out of retirement or Tony Romo comes back one more time to break another clavicle. It ain't gonna matter who it is quarterbacking for them boys. It's gonna be crazy because they got to go to Minnesota, and they're gonna watch Dalvin Cook do some grown man things to them.
Put on his cooking show.
I totally expect Dalvin Cook to welcome the Cowboys, to be an ambassador, and then just commits to running all up and down over them, back, forth, right, left. He gonna be doing so many run moves on them. I'm gonna swear that they're gonna be playing to keep it shuffle, and that's all he doing on them. It's gonna be crazy what he doing to them. They can't stop the run, and you're playing a back that's just a bruiser. And as the game goes on, he just gets stronger and stronger. He gonna hurt y'all. He gonna break you. So another week of Facebook silence where I have not seen any reference to the Cowboys, except from the Cowboy haters, since week 1 of last year. I'm not gonna hear anything else from Cowboy fans at all. How about the development though of the NFC South with Drew Brees being out and famous Jameis eating them W's for the Saints?
Man,
because now the Falcons come to town after they dropped the dead weight of their coach. They actually been on a roll.
They have been.
Yeah. Now they're 3-6. They have no shot of winning the NFC South. But they do have a shot of playing spoiler.
Mm-hmm. And they would love to play spoiler with New Orleans. That's one of their rivals.
Yes.
Put up or shut up time for Jameis. Things didn't go so well his last stint in Tampa Bay. Got on a nice little spot, standing behind Drew Brees, holding the clipboard, but now it's time to show and prove what you got in terms of your future, to see if you're going to be the next Teddy Bridgewater, which is turn your backup stint into a nice little starting stint for somebody next year.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if he has it in him. I think Brees will be out at least 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So Jameis, can you step to the plate, take your team to 3-0 and throw more touchdowns and interceptions? Keep this little run going and keep the Saints afloat in the NFC South? We will see, dog. We will see. But if you can't do it, it's back to street clothes.
Jameis, I believe in you, son. I just want you to understand just one thing when you go out there. When you go out there, because I know you used to be a Buccaneer, and I know there was some red in y'all's uniforms. But when you go play the Saints, I want you to understand that the red uniforms this time is the opposing team. Don't throw them the ball, Jameis. We know you like to throw to the other team a lot. You did it 30 times last year. 30.
As many times as he threw to his own team.
Jameis, if you watching this show, and I know you do, if you see this color right here, don't throw it to them. Throw it to the goal man. Jameis, that's just me helping you out, dog. I'm just saying, I know you wear that red jersey all week. Don't throw the red on Sunday. Maybe they should have put you in a gold jersey. Throw the gold, Jameis. Throw to the goal. I'm just saying. Because you're absolutely right. Jameis is not playing to be the Saints' backup quarterback next year. He's potentially playing to be a starting quarterback somewhere else next year. Yeah. That was the whole sale with Andy Dalton. Andy, you get into this, they're not going to bring you back next year if that proves to be okay, because it's going to be too expensive to sign you because somebody else is going to try to take you. But the longer you stay out, you're not winning any games, nobody's going to take a chance on you. And same thing with you, Jameis. Your window is so small. Same thing with you, Cam.
That's what I was about to say. It's like
you got to stand up. You got to do more than just throw 4 or 5 yard passes, dump offs to your running backs, and every now and then Jacoby Myers.
Yep.
You gonna do some stuff. You gonna do some stuff.
You guys want that Bridgewater contract next year, or you want that Cam Newton contract next year?
Teddy won 5 games for the Saints last year and got a $20 million a year contract.
And Cam Newton got a $1 million contract with bonuses. So we will see.
That's all it took. Ryan Tannehill won 8 games last year for Tennessee and got a heck of an extension. It's all about the winning and taking advantage of the opportunities that come in front of you. You got to be ready. You got to be ready. Ask Dwayne Haskins in Washington how going for him.
Not good, bro.
Anyway, Sam, don't worry. Sam Darnold will be bagging groceries next year as well. Man, I know we're short on time, but I got to ask you, through this first half of the season, do you see any quarterbacks or general managers that are potentially on the hot seat where if they don't turn their fortunes around, this is year over for them? Or it doesn't matter what they do for the rest of the year, they're probably done?
If it was up to me, Nagy would be on the hot seat in Chicago. Mm-hmm. Also, if it were up to me, I'd do a total and complete gutting of the New York Jets organization.
Yep.
It's a shame. It's shameful to be in a city like New York and have a team that's disastrous to where you're not only going out there unable to score 15 points a game, you're losing all of your stars to other teams because they don't even want to be there.
And who doesn't want to be in New York?
Who doesn't want to be in New York? Exactly. But you got Adams and just all kinds of guys, Williamson, just begging to get off the Jets. And the Jets got better history than that.
I'm out.
Yeah, they got better history than that. They deserve better. Their fans deserve better. So, yeah, Gase would be gone. The head coach, they're just waiting to fire him anyway. But
yeah,
I'll keep on going up the ranks. GM be gone too.
He's a dead man walking. It's funny you said Nagy. He's in the NFC North. What if he wins the division? Or if he goes 8-8? That's going to make it hard for them to get rid of him, right?
Probably, because I don't know what it is in Chicago. They like to hang on to their own.
They'll probably get rid of Trubisky first before they make a move on Nagy, right? Because Trubisky wasn't even active. He was inactive for the game against the Vikings.
Yeah. Chicago, I don't know. They just don't like to make big moves here lately. You see how long it took them to take Trubisky out of the quarterback seat.
Right, right.
I don't know if a move will be made at all in the executive level. I think one needs to be, but will there be?
Yeah.
Probably not.
I honestly think the team that really needs to just go ahead and pull their experiment out of the way. And maybe I just got some Panther hangover because of him, but that's Dave Gettleman. I think New York Giants, you've seen what you're going to get from Dave Gettleman. It's time to Dave, come on down to Florida, come on down to Sunny Pines, and it's been a career.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Dave Gettleman has got to be one of the worst. And as far as head coaches, oh my gosh, I don't know. You know, Shanahan's having a heck of a time out there in San Fran. I don't think it's going to hurt him, but he's having a heck of a time. Everybody else, I mean, you got to think about the Eagles. I don't. It's going to be either the coach or the quarterback, because they're going to blame it on one or the other. They're going to say either Carson Wentz isn't getting coached or Carson Wentz ain't listening to the coach. They're gonna have to. It's gonna have to be one or the other. You can't play this middle of the road game. If you don't bench him, and you can't win the NFC East, then it's gonna be on the coach. If you bench him and then you put Hurts in there and he takes over the team like Foles did, and you win with 4 or 5 wins, all they're gonna see is you went to the playoffs. They're not gonna, worry about the fact that you went 5 and 11. All they're gonna see is the playoffs, and you're gonna look like the greatest coach in the world. Because we know how Philly is, they will turn on their own quickly.
They boo Santa Claus.
They booed Santa Claus. I'm telling you, they will do it. So he's going to have to make a decision. He can't just say, "Hey, I don't want a Super Bowl." They don't care.
No.
This ain't the Cowboys. You can't win one Super Bowl and for the next 20 years just talk about that Super Bowl. That was then. They don't do that. They don't do that in Philly. They do that in Dallas.
Yep.
Yeah, you win one, Jerry Jones will keep you forever. You'll be a son. You'll come over to his house, all that good stuff. But yeah, so it's going to be one or the other. I think he's got a lot of heat on him, Doug Peterson. I think he got a lot of heat on him because he don't know what to do with Carson Wentz, but his future is tied to Carson Wentz. And that's unfortunate because I wouldn't want to be tied in any way to Carson Wentz right now. He's regressed. But a lot of it is being said that some of it is just his coaching. And I don't think it's coaching. I just think it's his attitude, or his ability to be coached. So that'll be interesting going forward. Any closing thoughts, sir?
Nope. I'm out of here, man. I'm about to watch the NBA draft. See who my Hornets pick up tonight.
Yeah, that is going to be very interesting. The NBA is doing their thing. A lot of player moves going on. People are acquiring people. CP3 is going to Phoenix. James Harden has a couple more years with Houston, but he's signaling to them. He just turned down an extension to make $50 million. You can't even make him stay with you for $50 million a year.
Houston has a problem.
Call me. I'll play for $50 million. Call me. My phone ain't ringing, Houston. Call me. I'm available. I'm wearing red right now. I'll be a Rocket. $50 million. You want to go to Brooklyn that bad? I've been to Brooklyn, James. Actually, it's beautiful. But that ain't the point. It's only one ball and you hog the ball. If you go up there with Kyrie and KD and there's only one ball and you can only do what you do with the ball in your hand, I don't know how that's going to work. Somebody help me out with that. I know this football, but y'all tell me how that's going to work. How is KD, Kyrie does what he does best with the ball in his hand. KD can move without the ball. Ultimately, it has to come to him, but it can come by reversing the ball from one side of the court to the other side, and he can pop up and shoot it. KD is a nightmare. He is a 7-foot assassin. Harden has to dribble the ball for 10 seconds of the 24-second shot clock. I mean, it sounds sexy. It's going to sell a lot of tickets. It's going to be hard to get up in the Barclays Center and pay a decent price for a ticket now. Thanks a lot. And it's going to be a fun show, but is it going to translate into wins? You're going to score a lot of points, or are you going to win the game? There's only one ball. Having 3 superstars don't give you 2 extra balls. Just saying. Anyway, that's my take on that. I know that's a NBA. I'm hoping that the Charlotte Hornets don't disappoint me and go for Flash. We tried that before. Go with the safe choice. Trade up, get your big man, build your team around your big man. Have a defensive presence. You're playing in the East in the NBA. You thought you could be sexy by having an owner that is the greatest player of all time, and that can put some butts in the seats, but it doesn't translate into wins. At the end of the day, your fan base will love you because you're actually winning, and that makes you relevant, and that makes them actually want to tell people that they're fans of your team. So that's how that works. Do you know most people don't know that Michael Jordan is the owner of the Charlotte Hornets? You know why? Because he doesn't play for the Charlotte Hornets.